What's up? Welcome into your Buckeye Rush Hour for a Wednesday, the hump day version of the Rush Hour. We do this, if you're new to the show, we do this Monday, Wednesday, Friday, every week, 4:30 to 5 Eastern. So pop in, pop out, hit the chat. You guys drive the show. So I'm going to lay out a topic, typically is how it goes. And then I want you guys to pop in here, give me your comments, your feedback, questions, whatever you want. Some of the old guys will pop in, the OGs, and they'll probably show you the way. But appreciate you stopping by. And so let's get into it. Today we're talking who has the toughest schedule in the 2023 season. So according to Phil Steele, I've been pumping his magazine lately. I've been reading the shit out of it. So according to Phil Steele's magazine, he says that he has this laid out. So what I did was, let me just show you guys. Let me share my screen so you guys can kind of see. This will probably make things easier visually. So I took a screenshot of the magazine, and I'm going to share that here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. All right. So 2023 toughest schedules. I highlighted the four most important teams here. And we'll get into some of the spreads of these games also, but most importantly, I wanted to show you where everybody ranks. To me, the four best teams in the country: Bama, Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan. Not in any kind of order, just the way I see it, currently. You can argue USC, whatever. Not right now. Not right now. You got to get to the playoffs first before you can start claiming any kind of tough schedule. And you can't come out of the Pac-12 and say you have a tough schedule. So, all right, let's start with Bama. So Bama here at 8. That's pretty significant. That's interesting to me. Buckeyes down here around 27. Last year they were at 14th, so slightly easier schedule. But then Georgia and Michigan, this is just freaking pathetic, man. Freaking 56, Georgia. Honestly, you have got to be kidding. Michigan 67, even worse. Freaking pathetic. This is not a tough schedule. This is baby poop alongside of what we're playing. So let's go through some of these games. We already have spreads for some of them, but I'm going to run through some games. I'll just go through the schedules first, then we'll touch on the spreads. All right. So I'm going to stop sharing this. You guys got that mental note in your brain holes? Okay. Back to me. So let's talk Alabama. I don't think this is the 8th toughest schedule in the country. I don't know where Phil gets this shit sometimes. Just like the other day when he tried to say that Ohio State has the 43rd ranked quarterback room in the country. No, they do not. Anyway, let's run through this Bama schedule. Middle Tennessee, Texas. That's a real ball game. I'll get into the spreads in a second on some of these big games that are out. So Texas week 2, but that's at Alabama. Then they go to South Florida. Why is Alabama going to South Florida is my question. Anyway, home against Ole Miss, at Mississippi State, at Texas A&M. That could be a tough one. Home against Arkansas, home against Tennessee. Tennessee's not good. Home against LSU, at Kentucky. Then, of course, your tune-up game, Chattanooga. Poor bastards. Didn't know they're coming to get a practice in with Bama, and then at Auburn. So let's talk spreads for these Bama games. Not all of them are out yet, but most of them. Middle Tennessee State favored by 38. The Texas at Alabama game, the one probably the best game on their schedule. At Alabama, they are favored by 6.5 right now. That's an interesting spread to me. So we'll see. Next, Ole Miss, that's at Alabama as well. Bama's favored by 14.5. Arkansas comes to Alabama. Bama favored by 20. The Tennessee game. Now, see, this is only a 9.5-point spread at Alabama. I thought this would be a little greater just because Joe Milton is not a starting quarterback for anybody, especially a Tennessee team. They're without their weapons. Hyatt's gone, so they can't just run streaks all day long. So anyway, 9.5 there. Bama's favored by. LSU comes to town. 5.5. Bama's favored by. We're getting into November now. And then the Auburn game, Bama goes to Auburn, but they're favored by 2 touchdowns. So not anything real shocking there. Like Ohio State, Bama's going to be favored in pretty much every game. But that Texas spread at 6.5 is very interesting. It'll, obviously when they finally settle on a quarterback, that might tweak these lines a little bit, but probably not too much. Okay, let's see. Who do we have next here? Let's go to, let's look at Georgia. Let's go to Georgia's schedule here. All right. Start off against UT Martin, typical SEC tune-up game. Then Ball State, then home against South Carolina. That's a decent game. Then UAB, then at Auburn, then Kentucky at home, then at Vandy, at Florida. Okay, so at Florida, a little tougher, but they'll still win that one. That's the cocktail party, so that should be a neutral site, right? Then Missouri, then Ole Miss at home, then at Tennessee, not a ball game, then at Georgia Tech, not a ball game. So let's check on these spreads. I saw the Gamecocks, probably the only decent game there. Let's check these spreads as they're out. We got a few of them out here. Okay. Yeah. South Carolina game at Georgia. Yeah. Georgia's favored by 24. So that will not be a ball game. It's crap what I said earlier. Georgia at Auburn. Or Georgia 17.5-point favorite. Then the cocktail party, Georgia 21.5-point favorites. And Ole Miss comes to Athens. Georgia's 19.5-point favorite. And Georgia, Tennessee, the only close one here. Georgia goes to Tennessee. That's a 7.5-point. They're favored. So Tennessee game, I guess, turns out to be the toughest one, but still a garbage schedule otherwise. All right, next up, let's check out the Buckeyes. We know most of this schedule by heart, but we'll run through it just for shits and giggles. Start off with a Big Ten game. Hey, nobody else starts off with a conference game anymore, do they? We go to Indiana, not a tough one at all. Then Youngstown State in Columbus, Western Kentucky at home, at Notre Dame. That's the tough one on the schedule before you get to Penn State and Michigan. Then home against Maryland, at Purdue, home against Penn State, at Wisconsin, underrated, at Rutgers, home against Michigan State, home against Minnesota, and then at Meat Chicken. So let's check these spreads, what we have available anyways. All right, Indiana game. We go to Indiana, favored by 4 touchdowns, 27.5-point favorites. Notre Dame, 7.5-point favorites at the Domers. Penn State comes to town. Buckeyes by 10 right now. Wisconsin, Buckeyes go to Wisconsin, minus 9.5. That's interesting. They expect Wisconsin to do some things, I guess. So now getting into November, you got Michigan State coming to Columbus, Buckeyes favored by 24. Then you got the Buckeyes going up to Ann Arbor as a whore, and Buckeyes are 3.5-point dogs. I jumped all over that shit. They do not have a spread out yet for the Penn State game, so I probably want to see what Drew Aller has under the hood. So that's the Buckeye schedule. All right, now let's finish up with these meat chokers. Here we go. Week 1, East Carolina. That's in Ann Arbor, obviously. Then home against UNLV, home against Bowling Green, home against Rutgers. They don't even leave the fucking state, leave their town for the first 4 weeks. go to Nebraska. Be interesting to see what Matt Rule has going on there. And that'll be week 5. So maybe they got some things worked out. Then at Minnesota, then home against Indiana, at Michigan State, Sparty with always the revenge factor, home against Purdue, at Penn State, at Maryland, home against the Buckeyes. So let's run through these spreads as we have them now. Michigan, East Carolina game, they're favored by 36. Jesus Christ. Go to Nebraska. They're only 18-point favorites. Okay. So they expect a little bit of a fight out of Nebraska. Then the Sparty game. Backyard brawl. Michigan favored by 17. Sparty, come on, Tuck. Come on, Tuck. Earn your fucking check. Let's go. All right, then Michigan goes to Penn State. That will probably be a whiteout. Right now, they don't have times on these. We'll see. I hope it's a night game. But anyway, Michigan favored by a field goal at Penn State. That's a tight one. So Michigan's got a couple tight ones here. Then we get into November. Obviously, the Buckeyes come to town again. Michigan favored by 3.5 at home. So interesting spreads on a couple of these. Let me check the chat, see who's in here. Hey, here's everybody. What's up, PC? How you doing? Good to see you. Yeah, PC says, after all those years of Bama biting off a chunk, good, about time. Yes, it is about time. What's up, Billy? How you doing? Good to see you. PC says Bama's going to have a hard time this year, especially with not much in the QB room. Yep, that is exactly what I said. Billy says you shouldn't get to play out of conference games week 12 before a rivalry game. Agreed. But yeah, SEC does what it wants. You know, they got the perfect blueprint laid out. If the rivalry games were actually difficult, maybe it would matter. It doesn't freaking matter when Auburn sucks, you know, and Georgia plays Georgia Tech, you know. If Georgia played Florida last game of the season, then, you know, that makes more sense. But yeah, PC's echoing just what Billy and I said. Yeah, it is nice to get to rest the starters late in the season, Billy. I agree 100%. So yeah, toughest schedule. I guess you got to hand it to Bama here, but Georgia and Michigan are just pathetic beyond belief. I can't even look at this Michigan schedule. Whew. Bowling Green. Going to Penn State. They finally get a ball game. Like week 12, week 10. Then Maryland, then the Buckeyes. So yeah, it's really disgusting. Check this out. I found this on the interwebs the other day. So conferences with teams playing 10 or more Power 5 opponents. Okay, so think about this from a conference point of view. Everybody is playing 10 or more Power 5 teams. Okay, ACC is playing with Notre Dame included. Okay, they're playing 10 of their 15 teams are playing Power 5 opponents. Big 10, 13 of the 14 are playing Power 5 opponents. Big 12, 11 of 14. Pac-12, 10 of 12. And here it is, the coup de grace, SEC, 2 teams of 14 are playing 10 or more Power 5 games. 2. Jesus Christ. Killing me, Whitey. So, yeah. And do you want to take a wild shot at which Big Ten team is not playing 10 Power 5 opponents? They don't have 10 Power 5 games on their schedule. Take a wild guess. I'll give you a freebie. PC, Billy, I'll hold out. I'll do the Jeopardy music, okay? Bing, bing, bong, bing, 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 bong. Got any guesses? Got any guesses? Are you live? Are you live? All right. I'm going to have to give it to you. Travis gets it. Travis coming in under the wire. I almost said it. Nice job, Travis. Nailed it. Michigan. Yes. Michigan is the only Big Ten team that is not playing 10 Power 5 teams this season. You got it too, PC. I'll give you that one. They don't want the smoke, Travis. I'm telling you. PC says, looks like Sports Illustrated rankings are different. What was your source on that, Joe? This is Phil Steele, Phil Steele Magazine, 2023 version. He's one of the few respectable college football go-tos for me. I like Pick Six previews. They're good. I like PFF. They're decent. So those are my three that I go to every preseason, during the college football magazine times. So Billy asks, why did we cancel the home and home with UW in 24 and 25? That's a good question, Billy. I wonder if it has to do with conference realignment, and they may be folded in by then. Just a wild hunch, but that's my unenlightened guess. PC says SEC only plays 8 conference games. They don't beat up on each other. No, they don't. That's part of it. But they would tell you their 8 conference games are much tougher than our 9 conference games. They would tell you that, right? And we must believe them, right? It must be true. Drink of water. Oh, I'm so fired up over these fucking schedules, I tell you. I'm not sure this Bama schedule is going to play out to be the 7th most difficult in the country, or 8th, either one, whatever it might be. What else we got here? I'll have to do some homework on that UW game, Billy, but I'm pretty sure, even though nobody said it, it just means more, PC. If you know it, you got the mantra down for the SEC. You could be a Bama fan if you wanted to, PC, or Georgia. You got to like chant SEC 3 times every time Alabama wins a title or Georgia wins a title. You got to get online and start chanting SEC. Then you're a fan. But yeah, back to the University of Washington game against the Buckeyes. I'll have to check on that. I can't really do it right now and talk at the same time. I'm a limited human being. Travis bringing up Florida. Yeah, they do actually. They're number 1, number 1 in Phil Steele's rankings of the most difficult schedules. Florida is in deep doo-doo. We could run through their schedule real quick. I got the time. Where are they at here? I got them right here. One sec. Here we go. Florida. All right, let's run through it. Ooh, at Utah right off the bat. That could be an L, man. That's a night game. Ooh, you know how those Mormons get at night. No, I really don't. Then home against McNeese, home against Tennessee, home against Charlotte, at Kentucky, home against Vanderbilt, at South Carolina, home against Georgia, home against Arkansas. Well, that Georgia game is actually a neutral site. You got to remember that. They say at home, but it's really neutral, even though it's in Florida. Anyway, then at LSU, at Missouri, home against Florida State. Let me see if I got some spreads on any of these Florida games. Only some of them have been released. Okay, Florida, Utah. Utah is a 9.5-point favorite. Wow. Talk about home field advantage, man. Holy shit. Ouchies. PC got it nailed. People that chant SEC are usually UK or Arkansas fans. Exactly. Yeah, Billy, what I mentioned. I like it, Travis. I like where your head is at. Florida won't make a bowl, and then all their commits will flip to the Buckeyes. Yeah, that sounds good to me. But check out this spread, man. Florida, Utah. Utah favored by 9.5. Let's go down here. Tennessee favored by 7.5 at Florida. Youch. Georgia at Florida. Georgia favored by 21.5. Cocktail game, whatever. Wow. Florida, LSU favored by 16.5. Oh, they get no breaks. Florida State is favored at Florida by 9.5, man. Holy crap. Florida is getting screwed, man. What'd they do? PC asks about, yeah, Utah is going to whip that ass. So is everybody else apparently on that schedule. That's a Power 5 team anyway. What's all the hype with FSU this year? Well, where are they on this schedule ranking? FSU, FIU, UCF, U. No, FSU. Where the hell are they? My eyes are going bug-eyed. I'm gonna have to start wearing glasses, man. This is some bullshit. I'm not seeing Florida State yet. Slow down. Florida Atlantic. Where the hell are they? I'll keep looking. You guys, let me read your comments here while I'm losing my freaking mind. Well, Florida State has their quarterback coming back, and they've got some weapons and stuff. I went through the national position rankings the other day. Was it Monday? Yeah, Monday's rush hour, and they have a lot of units on their team are highly ranked, you know, in relation to the rest of the country. So very interesting. I'll believe it when I see it, honestly. But they do play in a shit conference, the ACC. You know, here they are. Florida State's 41. I knew it would come to me. What else we got here? PC asks how Tennessee is looking. Well, let me break it to you like this, PC. Joe Milton, yes, that Joe Milton is their starting quarterback. That's all I got for you. I don't think they have any weapons. They might have a receiver, but I don't think they play defense yet. Drink of water. Thank you. Yeah, Travis, you're right. Jordan Travis is good. Travis, Roger, over. But they are overrated. I agree 100%. But playing in that shit conference, I can pull up their schedule here real quick. I got it right in front of me. Whoops. Smart ass. Yeah, you got it right in front of you, don't you? Here we go. Florida State has LSU to start off the season, but that's a home game. They're definitely underdogs there, I think. Then Southern Miss at Boston College, at Clemson. That's a tough one. Home against Vatech, home against Syracuse, home against Duke. Duke is better. Ray Billy. Then at Wake, at Pitt, home against the Canes, home against North Alabama, then at Florida to finish up the season. So not an easy schedule there for FSU either. But it is ranked 41st, you know, according to Phil Steele. Yeah, Travis talking about Tennessee says they lost all of their best players. They'll regress back to 9-win team at best. I agree 100%. That's their peak 9 wins. What else? Exactly, Billy. That's my point about Joe Milton. I can't imagine him being a dude. You know, he has a strong arm. Give him that. He can probably throw it from his knees 70 yards. But other than that, what do you need? What do you need that big arm for? you don't know where the hell it's going. Yeah, he will be this year's AR-15, that's for sure. Yeah, media loves some Tennessee quarterbacks too. It's because of Josh Heupel's system, I think. That's all it is. I don't know. What else? Only PC says only FSU and Clemson won 10 games last year in the ACC. Yep, that is correct. I haven't heard a lot about Clemson. Nobody's talking about them. Let's see where they rank on this. Clemson, they're 25th, so right in front of the Buckeyes and strength of schedule. Let's look at their schedule. They go to Duke, then home against Charleston Southern, home against FAU, home against Florida State, then at Syracuse, home against Wake, at Miami, at NC State, home against Notre Dame, home against Georgia Tech, home against North Carolina, then at South Carolina. That's mediocre schedule. I don't know. They'll beat Duke. They'll beat Charleston Southern. They'll beat FAU. Florida State, they'll probably beat. It'll be closer, though. It is at home. At Syracuse, that's a win. Wake is a win. At the Canes, that's a win. At NC State, that's a win. Notre Dame, decent game. They probably win that, though, at home. Georgia Tech at home. North Carolina would be a tough one, I think, but that's at home also. And then at South Carolina, I don't know if Spencer Rattler and South Carolina are good enough yet. I know Beamer's getting some recruits and stuff like that, but I'm not sure they're ready to go in or to beat Clemson either home or away, you know. Yeah, Travis, I agree. That's a QB-friendly hurry-up offense in Tennessee. I assume that's what you're talking about. Yeah, can they get some answers at wide receiver in Clemson? That's the point. Yeah, they're always going to have a good defense. Is Cade Klubnik the guy? I wasn't overly impressed with him last year, the games that he did get in. You know, I'm not sure he's the answer, but we'll see. You know, but all right, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. I got to get out of here. I'll talk to you guys later. We got some good shows coming up on the Daily Blitz, and have a good 4th. If I don't talk to you before then, hopefully I'll see you guys well before then, but appreciate you guys popping in here and keeping the chat lively. Appreciate you guys. Talk to you later. Go Bucks.